Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Brown's Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski, but you could call me Grizzer, and this is where we will get you caught up on some of the tidbits that are tied to our favorite team in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns. Some like to call it the news. And then what we'll do is we'll give you our take on the tidbits as the show progresses. Thank you to everybody who has liked our previous episodes, to all of you who have subscribed to the channel, and to everyone who get your comments down there in the viewer comment section. I cannot thank you enough. Coming up on today's show, Myles Garrett admits what the toughest thing about his job really is. Ooh. We start rebuilding the offensive line today through free agency first with the tackles, and then the free agent centers and guards, and then down in the viewer comments, why Shedeur Sanders was not named QB1 during camp last year. What? I guess we're finally going to find out. That's good news. All right. Well, first of all, we got to get through this. Myles Garrett with an eyebrow-raising admission when asked, who is the toughest quarterback in the NFL to sack? I mean, Myles Garrett's the sack master, right? And so he's a good guy to ask. And Myles said, Lamar. He's like, I mean, he was tough in college when we had to deal with him for a bowl game. He said he stiff-armed me one play in the bowl game. But he says Lamar Jackson is the toughest quarterback in the NFL to sack. And it got me wondering. I'm like, okay, well, who makes the list of the toughest quarterbacks to sack in the NFL? So I looked up the least sacked quarterbacks in the NFL since Myles has come into the league. And here's the list. Jordan Love, I mean, he's been around since 2020. So, I mean, not as big of opportunities for Jordan Love, but they got him down around 70 times he's been sacked, and so he's among the leaders. That Patrick Mahomes, as long as he's played, he's been around as long as Myles, although he's been sacked roughly 200 to 220 times, but he's still one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the league. They say it's second among active. His elite sack percentage, 4.46%. Jared Goff, lower cumulative in recent years due to improved protection. There you go. So he's around 5%. And then Josh Allen in the top 4, noted for very low sacks in multiple recent seasons. His mobility is what helps him. And Buffalo typically has a pretty decent offensive line. Other strong contenders for the top 10. These are other guys with low sack rates. Dak, Matthew Stafford, and then there he is down there at the bottom with Justin Herbert. I saved him for last because Myles. It's because of their mobile ability and their the way they can avoid rushers. Herbert and Jackson, but Jackson is the pro at this, man. Like there's I don't know if there's anybody better at avoiding a sack than Lamar Jackson with his feet. Myles Garrett. According to StatMuse, he has 14 sacks against Baltimore in his career. But remember that game in November when he sacked Lamar 4 times against the Ravens. And this was just this past year, 4 times. And so StatMuse has him sacking Jackson 10 times in his career. That's what I got. That's what I got from StatMuse. I might be off by a sack or two, but he's got 125 and a half now in his career. And 9 seasons, but listed it at 6 straight seasons with 12 sacks or more, man. Myles Garrett, whoo! Good thing he stuck around. Now he's going to have a great coach with this, to take this defense to the next level, and they will get some offensive support to go along with it. So it is going to be fun to watch it all come together. Now, if we're going to keep our quarterback from getting sacked, we need to revamp our offensive line. We already know that. And today we will start. We're going to do today and tomorrow. Today, free agency. We're going to look at some of the tackles, centers, or guards that we can get through free agency, because we're going to start with the tackles, because Cleveland's tackles last year were ranked the worst duo in pass protection last season. So there you go. The only way to go is up with our tackles. So no matter who we stick in there, they couldn't be any worse than what we had last year. And so here is the list of free agent tackles that are out there, and the guy that tops the list now, in parentheses, their age, because you know that means a lot to me. I got to know how old you are. But Rasheed Walker is the cream of the crop in this year's pack of free agent tackles. He's a left tackle. They're saying $20 million a year for him. Probably a 4-year deal, $80 million. Yeah. Andrew Berry would have to work his magic to get him. Jermaine Eluemunor from the Giants. I hope I pronounced that correctly. $8 to $12 million, but he's 31. A lot of people seem to like him though, but he's 31. So spending $8 to $12 million on a right tackle, I don't know. When you can get a great one in the draft this year, I don't know if that's an option. It's not a horrible option, but it's an option. Braxton Jones from the Bears. He's younger, 27. Only cost you $5 million a year. They say he's an above-average starting caliber left tackle who has proven effective, but let me throw this in, when healthy. So there's an injury history there. And then there's Braden Smith, right tackle. The Colts. He's 29, and they're saying 13 to 17 million a year for him if you want him, but he can do it both. I mean, he does it all. He can block in the run game and provide solid pass protection. Braden Smith from the Colts is up there. Trent Brown from the Texans, another right tackle. I mean, they say he's a veteran presence. He's 32. That's the problem, you know. But it'll only cost you $3 million a year. If you wanted to try and do a gap thing or something with him, a 1-year show me deal or something. But I don't know, man. 32. We're in a youth movement. We are in a youth movement. So not sure if Trent Brown would fit into the Browns' plans. Elijah Wilkinson from the Falcons, another right tackle. You notice there's a lot of right tackles on this list, man. That's why Rasheed Walker, he's just going to go to the highest bidder because, you know, it's only him and Braxton Jones out there. The two, and they're both young. And, I mean, Walker's a stud and Jones is pretty good. So those two are going to command the market. But Elijah Wilkins, he's 31. Again, you have these guys that are all in the low 30-year-old age, and this is when they start falling off, these linemen. So, a couple of possibilities there. You got Kendall Lamb from the Dolphins. He's 33, another older. But Jonah Williams intrigues me, the Cardinals' right tackle. He's a veteran option. They say he costs around $10 million a year, but he's got significant starting experience. So definitely would be an upgrade from Jack Conklin because at least this guy can stay on the field. So there's your list of offensive tackles, both left and right. And Lamb plays both. So that's what's a little intriguing about Lamb. But the guys who are in their 30s, I would lean away from. But not a deal breaker, especially with Eluemunor from the Giants. I think he did a nice job for Jackson Dart last year. I think he's got a little bit of gas left in the tank, but there you go. Now, when you get to the guards and the centers, there's only one center for me. You know who it is. I didn't even put him on the list. It's Tyler Linderbaum from Baltimore. If we could get Linderbaum over here because he knows Monken's offense and he would be instrumental in helping not only the offensive line learn the offense, but also Shedeur as well. I think Linderbaum's the only center for me to target in free agency. Now, here's the list. Tev Jenkins, our guy, is on there. He did a nice job, but he plays primarily left guard. And, if we could get him at the right price, we got to get him. We got it. To me, he's a guy we got to get back. And so, It's just tough to tell what his market's going to be because he was playing a backup role for us last year. So I mean, his market could be anywhere from 2 to 10 million. I mean, it's going to be tough to see what kind of magic. Maybe Barry gives him some years to keep the money down. That's one way to do it. Then you got Zion Johnson from the Chargers, another left guard. Here, remember this: Joe Bitonio is a left guard. So if Bitonio retires, like, to me, you have to make this a priority, signing a left guard. And I think Teb Jenkins is the most logical choice since he's been here if he wants to stay. Dylan Parham, from the Las Vegas Raiders, left guard. Known for his quickness and versatility. By the way, Zion Johnson will cost you about $11 million a year. Parham, about $10 million a year. So these guys aren't cheap, man. If you need to find a veteran replacement who's younger for Joe Bitonio, man, it'll cost you a little bit of money. Trevor Penning from the Chargers offers starting experience with potential for further development at guard. He's only 27. They're talking about $10 million a year for him. And they also say he's a potential swing lineman. So there's that too. A little more value with him than some of the others. Trevor Penning. David Edwards from Buffalo. Reliable veteran, but he's 29, but he'll cost you like $20 million a year. He's a top tier guard, and I don't think there's no way. Like, even if you signed a Walker, there's no way you're signing this guy. But he is a left guard, and he is what I think might be the cream of the crop of this group. And then you got Dalton Risner, Cincinnati. He's a right guard. His market value, he could be a show me deal guy if you're thinking about a right guard. 1 year contract, they're talking about $2.5 million for Dalton Risner. So there are some options out there for us, both tackle and guards. And for me, like I said, the only center I am signing is Tyler Linderbaum. If not, and then I'm going to roll. I'm going to either, maybe we sign Pochik. You got Whippler still. You got options there. But for me, it's Linderbaum or bust for free agent centers. But the Browns have, with this cap space, there are so many ways they can go. And what's going to happen is free agency will determine what we do in the draft. And so what we'll do tomorrow is we will put together, I've got two options of the way the Browns can go in both free agency and the draft to rebuild the offensive line and also add the weapons that we need to go along with it for Shedeur. And so that's the start. Tomorrow we'll talk draft and then put it all together for you, and we will have an offense that will take us to the Super Bowl coming tomorrow. That is on tomorrow's show, but it starts with revamping the offensive line. Now, something that does not need to be revamped, of course, are the viewer comments, and we'll start today with Brian Mathis RQ7NT. Starts as a handle, ends as a password. And Brian Mathis says, I don't know, Grizzer, on the Jerry Jeudy take. Remember we talked about, I said patience with Jerry Jeudy. He is a trade target. We talked about it yesterday, but patience. I think he's poised for a bounce back season because everything will be settled down this year. The quarterback situation has been stabilized. But Brian Mathis doesn't know about the Jerry Jeudy take. He said he showed his beep on the sidelines on Shedeur Sanders. He was acting like Steven on Django. So I thought that was kind of funny. He said he was acting like Steven on Django. Yes, he was. He had his it was like a meltdown Monday for him. During the season, when we don't play so well on Sunday, we have what's called a meltdown Monday here on the show. And we will melt down a little bit. And then we get it back by Wednesday. We're back to normal and happy and, glass half full again. But But yeah, I just think that there were so many things going on, so many frustrating things on the offensive side of the ball that started with Stefanski, and going with Gabriel, and everybody knows Gabriel wasn't the answer, and the offensive line was a mess, and there's just no time for the wide receivers to even get into their routes, and the quarterback's already under pressure, and it's just a complete mess, and all the switching of the quarterbacks and everything. Just let's go back to let's have 4 quarterbacks in camp, like just the whole thing, man, the whole offense. The Stefanski's plan was brutal, and I think all of that just kind of came to fruition, on that play when Jeudy had his little meltdown. But he and Shedeur talked it out. It's fine. I'm willing to give Jerry Jeudy a second chance because he's in his prime and he's already signed. We have him signed to an affordable contract. And so that is what's going to keep Jerry Jeudy here. Like I said, unless somebody comes up to Barry and says, hey, we'll give you a second-round pick for him. Barry would be like, yeah, sure, okay. And then you go out and get somebody else. But I think Jerry Jeudy will be here because of the contract and because he is in his prime. Fizz Fop. I mean, if you have a handle like Fizz Fop 1, you're going to make it on. It almost doesn't matter what you say. You might be Fizz Fop and say, Grizzer, you're the worst host in the history of hosts. And I'll be like, I got to use it just because it's Fizz Fop. And so, but Fizz Fop 1 says, you will drive yourself nuts when you look at missed gems in the draft. He's talking about, I went back and looked at the players we could have had instead of taking Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round, which I called, I'm going to correct myself. I've been calling it the second worst decision in franchise history after Deshaun Watson. Now, this, I should categorize it as after 1999, because in franchise history, the worst decision was Art Modell moving the team to Baltimore. That is the worst decision. And somebody mentioned that in the comments, and I'm like, yes, you're absolutely right. But when you're talking about post-1999, after the Deshaun Watson debacle, the Dillon Gabriel 3rd-round pick debacle comes in second on the list. But nothing will ever trump the Browns moving to Baltimore, Art Modell. That's why he's the most hated man in Cleveland, folks. I'm telling you. But Fizz Fop, let's get back to Fizz Fop 1, who says, you will drive yourself nuts when you look at missed gems in the draft. The right player has to go to the right situation. Prime example, Brady going to the Patriots, Tim Couch to the Browns. Yeah, Tim Couch, man. There are people that want to say Tim Couch is a bust, but I can't. And a lot of people, I think, will agree with me. He went number 1 overall in 1999. It was the expansion year. It was, when we got the team back. My goodness, that team was so bad. He was sacked so many times and hurt so much because of it. I mean, the infrastructure was poor, so it led to inconsistent statistics and things like that. But, he's right. Fizz Fop is right. Brady ends up in a perfect situation. If Couch goes in the 6th round to New England, who knows? Maybe, I'm not saying he'd be Tom Brady, but he probably had a better career, at least stat-wise. So, that's why you can't. People love to get hung up on stats sometimes, especially with our quarterback, man. It's all the haters. It's all the rage baiters and the haters. They just like to go to stats, and it doesn't. Stats are only part of the picture. You have to look at the big picture. And I do the same thing with Tim Couch. You have to look at the situation he was in. And so he was good. He was great in college, and he's prototype. I mean, big, strong arm, could move around a little bit. He was your prototypical NFL quarterback. And I liked the pick when they made it. The problem is everything else around him, whoo, it's like a house crumbling down around him. Every time he dropped back to pass, it was brutal. Larry Doyle, 2887, says, Grizzer, you ever wonder why the coach liked the other guys more than he liked Sanders? This is what we teased at the top. Larry Doyle, wouldn't the simplest answer be that he thought the others were better? Sanders simply wasn't ready. The issue isn't the coach. The issue is the fans who refuse to deal with reality. The coach got a better job after the season. He was the second coach signed. He was in demand. He wasn't the problem. Well, Larry Doyle, I'm here to tell you that Kevin Stefanski was 100% the problem. This isn't even just about this past season. Our offense has been horrible for pretty much the whole time he was here. I mean, he was terrible. He was supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. He didn't whisper anything to anybody. I mean, he ran Baker out of town. Then they get Watson. If he's the quarterback whisperer, Watson should have been turning out MVP years, right? That never happened. He was just brutal every time he was out there. And, plus, it doesn't help that he can't read it. But if he's the quarterback whisperer, he should run it. Like, why we didn't run him through some, first of all, Watson didn't want to come here. But why not go through some drills with him? Do a Gruden quarterback camp with him or something and see if he knows what he's I don't know. I don't know what his evaluation process was when it came to Deshaun Watson. But that was a complete whiff. His in-game decision-making was the absolute worst, man. Atlanta has that to look forward to, punting from the opponent's 29-yard line. Just the play calling in general, the stuff analytics, all of it, brutal. He's supposed to be an offensive genius, and he is the exact opposite of that. He is brutal, man. And to have 4 quarterbacks and all of it, he is terrible, and everybody is so glad he is gone. There's no love lost. And everybody, how about Monday Night Football? We had that prediction pen question yesterday. How about Monday Night Football? Browns versus the Falcons. How about that? That's what the schedule makers need to get, because that is must-see TV, man. We got a Shedeur against Stefanski, the Stefabotager. Whoo! Monday Night Football, sign me up. Even Sunday night or Monday Night Football, that'd be great. Nomi 4560 says, Deshaun Watson can sit and back up Shedeur. Browns probably bringing in a camp body late for competition purposes. I don't know about competition purposes, because if we get Tyler Huntley in here, it's going to be more than it's going to be your backup quarterback who will be like a quasi-extra coach, man, because he knows Monken's offense. I'm hoping that's where they go, and then Watson can be the emergency quarterback, and we can trade Gabriel, try and, I don't know, see what we can get for him, maybe send him to Atlanta. But that's kind of the way I'm hoping the room sets up. I mean, I'm spending all of our free agent money. We do have cap space, but he'll only cost us a couple, $2.5 million maybe this year. And if we want to lock him down, give him an extra year. But I think Huntley would be great. I think it'd be Shedeur, Huntley, Deshaun Watson, emergency quarterback, or Dillon Gabriel. Because remember, Deshaun Watson, big swing and a miss. When the owner calls you a big swing and a miss and said, we thought you were our quarterback, but you're not, that tells me you're not going to be on the team. So Dillon Gabriel, emergency quarterback, that would be fine too. They cut Watson after June 1st, spread the cap money out, keep Gabriel as the emergency. Huntley as the backup, to me, would be outstanding. And we will end today with GZB Horror for Life. Again, great handle. GZB Horror for Life. And as scary as the handle sounds, he has a great take. GZB Horror for Life says, this will be a winning season. Sanders will be great behind the starting offensive line. The play calling won't be average. It will be top tier with plays not expected from the Browns. New coaches were absolutely needed. And that's it. That's exactly it, man. This offensive staff needed a cleansing, and we got it. And the beauty of it on the defensive side, the defense is so good. Schwartz doesn't want to be a part of it, but it's the best case scenario because you've got a younger mind in there, a guy who can disguise coverages much better, and you keep all of the assistants that have been here, and they promoted them all. They gave them all something else to do. Bond and Tarver, all of the guys, even the cornerbacks guy, like they're promoting everybody. So everybody's happy, everybody's bought in. New leader on defense, completely new look on offense. A head coach who's aligned with the quarterback, who adjusts to a quarterback's strengths. You got 2 stud running backs. We've already told you, we've already started to revamp the offensive line. We'll finish that tomorrow, but very, very good situation to be in if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, man. There's a lot to be excited about heading into the 2026 season. Okay, we will polish off the offensive line tomorrow through the draft, and then we will put it all together and see how excited you are about my plans for the offense between free agency and the draft, who we can sign, who we can draft, put it all together, and then Super Bowl or bust. That's what I'm thinking. All right, thanks for watching. Go Browns! We will see you next time.